Well, it's a big show.
I'm gonna stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. Go hog.
It's a team sport. It's not a talent-based sport.
We got Bobby fucking Petrino back. If I'm honest with myself right now, it's a cool 12-0. Oh, look at that tornado. Maybe kegs and eggs.
But here's my point, okay?
It's Division I football.
Week
Damn,
8?
I had it. I switched it. I even fixed it. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there, dude.
Week 8? We're going with week 8, dude? Like,
No, I had the whole video. I had it like done, and I even uploaded it to this thing, and it just never came up. Let me see if I can get it again. What the hell happened? Oh, the file's too large. That's why. That's why it didn't upload. That's why it didn't change. It's week 10, everybody.
What did you watch FAU in South Florida last night?
I caught a little bit of it.
What happened at the end? Did you see that handshake?
Yeah, between Tom Herman and what's the USF's coach name?
Whatever his name is. Like what? Like what? Were they running up the score? Was some of that shenanigans going on? I want to know what happened, dude.
A little animosity there, 44-21. Maybe running up the score. I'm okay with running up. Erik, what's your take on running up the score in general?
Get a fucking stop.
That's what I'm saying. I'm always pro run up the score.
Get a stop, but I'm not going to be running fake field goals like Sean Payton.
It's fine either way. Sean Payton's a different beast.
Sean Payton's a bitch.
That's fair. Bobby Thomas still hungover.
Dude, I'm just going to let you know. Last week, old Bobby and I were out rather late. He sent me a picture from him on the sidelines in the Michigan State game. He looked like he ran through hell. I mean, because I drove his ass back to the airport. Him and his lovely wife, Pam, went to the Michigan State-Michigan game. And he looked like hell.
Sports Facts chiming in. ASU over Oklahoma State today.
I got no comment. Nothing in that one.
And then I hate the Lakers. Fuck Zach LaVine. And let's make some money also saying he has no idea how it didn't go over last night.
Yeah, so we had LaVine over 21.5 points. He had
I think you were kind of texting about this.
He had 17 at halftime. Looking great. Goes 2 for 6 in the second half. Misses 2 layups. Has 2 shots in the fourth quarter in a tight game when he's their best player. No idea. And missed it by half a point. Finished with 21.
Brutal. Erik, any thoughts or takes from the weekday games? We had UConn over Georgia State. Like we already mentioned, South Florida over FAU big. Boise State over San Diego State. Tulane waxing Charlotte. And Liberty getting their second loss to Jacksonville State.
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of see Liberty's kind of waving the white flag. They're kind of done. I think that's a team we kind of got to look to fade. I mean, I think the biggest news is it's still alive, dude. FIU's win total still has legs. They only need 2 more with game. Well, I mean, let's say they do beat Kennesaw State, then they have to beat Jackson State or Middle Tennessee. They could get to that 5, dude. And I'm not going to lie. I bet New Mexico State there. New Mexico State's kicker, he's going to be playing in the UFL or the CFL. He can kick, dude.
That kid's good.
That dude's legit. Tony Sanchez is an idiot. No idea what he's doing there at all. But
you've been anti Sanchez for a couple years.
Dude, he came to UNLV. I was all on the hype train, but yeah.
Speaking of which, Kennesaw State falls to Western Kentucky. Louisiana beats Texas State to kind of take control over that part of the Sun Belt.
Oh, dude, I was so wrong. Texas State's defense, dude, they just can't do it, man.
What a disappointing year for Texas State. How I feel like preseason everyone was going in on the hype for him.
Yeah, I was in on the hype for him a lot too.
And then Sam Houston getting the win over La Tech. Sam Houston having a good season.
A quiet 10-7 victory.
9-3.
Oh, 9-3? I thought it was 10-7.
No, 9-3.
Who was 10-7?
10-7 was...
I know there's a 10-7 game.
Was there one?
I know there was a 10-7.
No, that was 9-3, baby.
That was 9-3.
What
about Charlotte and Tulane?
Yeah, Tulane waxing them.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, Charlotte had their run, and I think even losing 34-3, I still think that Charlotte's a better team than they were last year. They show heart. And I don't know what more you can expect out of Charlotte. Like, what more can Biff Poggi get out of them? What more could any coach get out of them?
I mean, I kind of like Club Lit better.
Do you?
Yeah, I did.
That's fair. Erik, are you ready to start breaking down Week 10's Saturday?
Let's do it, big dog.
I hate the Lakers chiming in. Wyoming over New Mexico today, straight up. I don't hate that.
I can see it.
I don't hate it. Starting off, probably the biggest game of the day, 11 a.m. Ohio State at Penn State.
I mean, technically probably 11:27 a.m. with how Fox does shit.
It's true. It's probably closer to 11:26 and 11:27. I hate Fox's broadcast of football games. They're also the biggest rule breaker for me, where they more often than any other broadcaster, they do the touchdown commercial, field goal commercial, and then kickoff commercial.
Yeah.
They do that more than any other broadcast. But anyway, Ohio State is a 3-point road favorite, over under 47.5, plus 130 on the money line for the Nittany Lions.
Look, I hate the fact I'm doing this. I'm betting on small game Franklin here. Give me Penn State plus 3.5. Ohio State's offensive line hasn't been up to the standard that the program has had in the past. Now Joshua Simmons, who's their best offensive lineman, is out. Penn State's defensive line has been elite. I think they're going to be able to get to Will Howard, make his life difficult. Looking like Aller is going to be able to start, but Prabol did look good when he came in, and he can do more of this new offense that Penn State has, more RPO stuff, a little bit more of a mobile quarterback than Drew is. So even if he plays, I don't downgrade at all. I think it's actually a little bit more of an upgrade. Ohio State's defensive line is down. I think Penn State is going to be able to run the ball. Let's look at Ryan Day versus ranked opponents in general. 33% against the number. Ryan Day against top 10 opponents. 27% against the number. You know what me, you, and Ryan Day all have in common?
What's that?
We have never covered a game against a top 5 opponent. I'm taking Penn State here. I got it at 3.5. I know some books it's ticked down to 3. I'm fine with that as well.
So you run into the immovable object versus unstoppable force. Big game James Franklin versus top 5 matchup Ryan Day.
It's small game.
What, Erik? No. This is if not my whole thing with Penn State versus Ohio State right now. If not now, when? Like, this is Penn State has looked. This is as good as they've looked for many years. That defense is fierce and phenomenal. Ohio State, Erik mentioned it, nailed it on the head. The offensive line, not only is it not as good as we usually expect from Ohio State, it's banged the hell up too. And the fact that they weren't able to run on Nebraska, if they can't run on Penn State, I trust Will Howard. I don't know if Erik does. I trust Will Howard to be able to do stuff through the air.
I don't trust Will Howard.
But I don't. If not now, when? Right? Like, if James Franklin and the Penn State Nittany Lions can't get it done now, When? You're asking the question when.
Never.
Sports Facts chiming in. That was a good one. I like the Penn State play. I stayed away from this one though.
Oh, come on, Jimmy.
Erik, don't worry. I might have it a little later.
You didn't send me your plays today. I have no idea. I know. I'm going in blind right now. I'm going in blind. I
may have Penn State a little later in the lineup. Up also at 11 a.m. Duke versus Miami. Miami is a 21-point home favorite. Over under 54.5 plus 950 on the money line. I don't think Duke is as good as their record shows, but also Miami has been playing in like some weirdly close games with teams that I think they should be blowing out. And eventually we'll get the Cam Ward game.
And I mean, Diaz is going to bring pressure. The only thing is the blueprint for offense that you need to beat this Miami team, Duke just doesn't have.
Yeah. It would be very
turnovers, maybe some stuff, but I want nothing to do here. Maybe a first half bet. If I were to bet this game, that's what I'd look to do, but nothing for me.
It would be very funny for Manny Diaz to beat Miami, though.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
It'd be very, very funny. I'm rooting for it to happen. I don't think that it will, but I'm rooting for it to happen. 11 a.m. also. Air Force at Army. Army is a 22-point favorite here. Over under 40.5 plus 1,200 on the money line for the Air Force. Erik.
I got something
in this one.
I got one.
You're crazy for it.
Service Academy Dogs last 20 years. 54%, 4.2% ROI. When getting 14.5 or more, 62% against the spread, 20.6% ROI. Getting 21.5 or more, 78.3% against the number, 48.8% ROI. Flip side, when service academies are laying 14.5 or more, 42.3% ATS, laying 21.5 or more, 41.7% ATS. Look, this is just a trends play. This is all it is. They should get blown out here. But when I'm looking at these numbers, Air Force slower pace, Army slower pace. Historically, big numbers don't cover here. Taking Air Force here. I got him at 22, man.
This is Erik following the numbers. He's a broker through and through when it comes to sports gambling. I could not hitch my wagon to this Air Force team this year if someone paid me like $200.
What about 195?
No, couldn't do it. This Air Force, they're garbage. They are awful. And I hope you win your bet, Erik. I'm hoping you win your bet. But if you don't, or if you do, and Army still puts up a bunch of points, I'm trying to ring the bell for the Bryson Daly Heisman campaign to get to New York.
I don't think it. It could. I mean,
I just want him in New York.
If they beat Notre Dame, it'll get to New York.
I just want him in New York. That's all I want. Sports Fast asking, you have a winter hat on? Turn the heat on, Erik.
Dude, it's just cold, man. You know what I mean? It's just cold. I couldn't find a hat I wanted to wear this morning. It's fucking 35 here in Chicago. It was 85 2 days ago. Now it's 35.
Dude, it was like 74 here yesterday, and now it's down all the way to like 39.
There's frost on the fucking ground out here.
You live too far north, Erik.
I had the kiddie pool out for the dog 2 days ago. Now there's fucking frost on the ground, dude. That's where I am. And you know what? I didn't have the heat on last night. It's a little nippy in here, man. Don't hate, buddy. The heat's on. It'll get toasty in here in a little bit.
Going down south, Ole Miss at Arkansas. The Ole Miss Rebels are 7.5-point road favorites, over under 54, plus 230 on the money line. I've got something here too, Erik. I'm taking Arkansas plus 7.5 here because what does Arkansas do? Especially this year, they're one of like 3 or 4 teams I look at. They love to string their fans along, give them heartbreak. They lose 1-score games. That's what they do. They've done it a bunch this year. It's them, Auburn. Cal has done a bunch this year. They lose 1-score games. And I'm going to take the Hogs here to get this cover. In part because of that, but also I don't trust this Ole Miss team and this whatever $30 million roster that they assembled. they have been very disappointing, and I don't know if they're if they're knocked out of the SEC championship potential. They're probably knocked out of the playoff. What are they really playing for at this point? I don't trust Lane Kiffin to be able to motivate his guys if there really is nothing to play for.
Yeah, and what is Sammy Pittman's nickname? Sammy Covers. 71% ATS as a dog against ranked teams. That number dips down a little bit, dips down to 70%. There's that big 1% drop. Ole Miss has Georgia on deck too. And you hit the nail on the head. How motivated is this team? Their playoff aspirations, their DOA as soon as they lost that game to Kentucky. Ole Miss's offensive line hasn't been good. Now they have some injuries. I think Arkansas's pass rush is going to be able to get to little JD back there. I know Ole Miss's defensive line is good, but with how mobile Green is, he's going to be able to extend the plays. I am worried about the healthy running back situation at Arkansas. Is that going to limit the RPOs because you are going down the depth chart a little bit? I don't think so. I think they're going to be able to have success running the RPOs. I think Green's going to be able to extend plays and use his legs against this Ole Miss defensive line. I'm going to take Arkansas here. I got him at plus 7.5. I also put a money line plus 250.
With the heartbreak scenario, I've been there too many times. I couldn't get there with the money line, but I am on them plus 7.5. Let's make some money asking. Where's Chase? I need some Breeders' Cup bets. He had an appointment today, but you can always head over to the Notorious OTB on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere podcasts can be found for all of his Breeders' Cup picks.
Look at you, dude. Look at you. A little.
Hey, I'm a promo guy, Erik. I'm a promo guy. That's what I help my friends help friends. 11 a.m. Also, some are calling this the secret matchup of the day. Minnesota at Illinois. The Gophers are 2.5-point road favorites here. Over under 46.5, plus 120 on the money line for the Illini. I am in this one, Erik.
Oh my God. Home Bert?
Yeah, home Bert. It's Bert. What? On what play? Are you going to take Bert or Fleck here? I'm going to take Bert.
I'm going to take a bottle of Jack. I'm not going to take either or, man.
I'm taking Bert here. I've watched both these teams. This is all eye test based. I know Minnesota has gotten better each week. I think Illinois is a legitimately good team. I trust Bert here as a home dog. Give me Illinois. I got him plus 3, and I also sprinkled on the money line at plus.
Which I respect.
Plus 129.
To me, if you told me one team won by a blowout, it wouldn't surprise me. If you told me one team won in a last-second field goal, it wouldn't surprise me. I feel
like these two teams in the Big Ten are very, very, they're equal in my mind. I put Minnesota and Illinois right now kind of at the same level, and I don't think that warrants Illinois being a 3-point home dog.
I concur.
I hate the Lakers asking, Jim, what's that behind me? Well, there's a filing cabinet. This here is a cat tree. This was a homemade cat tree from my great uncle. He made that for us.
That's pretty cool.
It's sick. I got to figure out where I'm going to put it. It was in the living room, but we got a couch yesterday, so we kind of had to just move a bunch of stuff out of the living room. So this is going in the office. I got to figure out where I'm going to put it. Don't have a spot for it yet. I might put it kind of over here next to me. We'll see. Also 11 a.m., Virginia Tech at Syracuse. Tech is a 4-point road favorite here, over under 54, plus 150 on the money line.
You know what? First of all, I owe my boy David an apology. He watched the show, and I guess last week I said, is Virginia Tech been eliminated from the ACC? And he called me out on it. They have not been eliminated yet. I apologize for that. In terms of this game, I want nothing. I still have a Vatech future in the ACC. If they can kind of piece some games together, they're going to need a little bit of help. But, gun to my head, Vatech. How bad did McCord look last game?
Yeah, but McCord is a weird dude this year. He's looked stellar for certain games, and he's looked god-awful, too. So Syracuse, to me, right now, is a very interesting chaos team.
Next week, guess what the game is?
What do we got next week?
We got Vatech hosting Clemson.
That's a good game.
I mean, I hope both those teams win today. I mean, obviously, I'd be more worried about Vatech than I would be. Well, actually, Clemson plays Louisville. Louisville can be sneaky, but
yeah.
Oh, I want nothing in this game.
I also wanted nothing here. In years prior, I would be all over Syracuse, and I wouldn't fault you for loving the Qs here. I'm hesitant based off the performance we saw last week.
A little tight, dude. A little nervous.
A little tight. I'm giving them a week to kind of show me what they got.
Show me what you got, sugar tits. That's what you're telling me. Huh?
Exactly. Stanford at NC State. NC State's a 9.5-point home favorite here. Over under 47 plus 285 on the money line. I'm
gonna sit this out. What I want to do this year is I want to see, because this is a noon start, correct?
Yes.
I want to see how the West Coast teams did at the noon starts, and then how the East Coast teams did at like the 9:30 starts going into next year. That's something I'm kind of tracking right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To kind of see like this coast to coast travel situation. I mean, look to fade Stanford, but I'm doing nothing here.
Would I be crazy to take Stanford here?
Would you be crazy to take? No.
Would I be?
North Carolina State, that's another team that kind of came in with some high aspirations. Now you have to win 2 out of your next 4 to qualify for a bowl game.
And Stanford, their only victories this year have come on the road. Well, against FBS opponents.
And I mean, the thing is, like, these 2-6 teams, like Stanford this is when they get like the effort, because if they lose this game, they're not going to be able to qualify for bowl eligibility.
Can you believe Stanford hasn't won a home game this year to an FBS opponent?
Jesus.
Almost did it against Wake Forest, but Wake pulled it out last week. Oh, God.
They should have beat. Oh, no, they covered against TCU.
They covered. You know what? I'm going to add it. Give me Stanford plus 9.5 here.
Jesus.
I'm going to do it. I'm taking Stanford plus 9.5. Add it to my slate. It's not going to be on the graphic, but for you listeners of the show, Stanford plus 9.5. Memphis at UTSA. Memphis is a 7.5-point favorite here. Over under 61 plus 225 on the money line for the Roadrunners.
Question. Do you feel the USTA coach is kicking himself for not taking a job?
Maybe. I feel like obviously he could rebuild them back up.
Yeah, but I feel it's going to be harder now in the age of NIL.
Maybe to an extent. I still feel like they'll be all right. Were people saying that about like Iowa State after he had a couple like decent seasons and then went on a little bit of a losing streak and now they're back up? I don't know. I think he'll be fine. I think he's a good coach. I think he knows Texas really well. I think they'll be all right. It's always, I think they should have gone after a quarterback in the portal maybe. But other than that, I think this team is like still feisty. I think Memphis should cover this and they should win pretty comfortably. I don't know if I trust Memphis to be able to do that though.
Okay, respect.
Northwestern at Purdue. Erik, Purdue's a 2.5-point favorite here. Over under 44.5 plus 110 on the money line. The Big Ten is the Big Ten matchups. Actually, not really.
Gun to my head, Purdue.
Gun to my head, Northwestern.
Oh fuck, dude.
So
even though I didn't bet this game, do you want to have another T-shirt bet on this bad boy, dude?
Have a gun to your head bet. You never told me what size you were.
Oh shit! I'll text you.
Okay. Because I owe you that Akron merch.
You want to have an off the? You want to have another T-shirt bet on this bad boy?
Yeah, actually, yeah, because I love both these teams' merch. Yeah.
All right. So if Northwestern covers the 2.5, I'll get you a Northwestern tee.
And if Purdue covers the 2.5, I'll get you a Purdue tee. Shout out T1BG. We do pay up here. We pay up in the garage.
We do.
11 a.m. Toledo at Eastern Michigan. Toledo's a 10-point road favorite here. Over under 54.5 plus 275 on the money line. Oh, I want to take Eastern Michigan so bad just to cover that spread.
That was a big number. Toledo's down this year. But
you know what? Add it. Give me Eastern Michigan plus 10. Give it to me.
Just
Stanford, Eastern Michigan. I'm just going through the betting orchard, just picking things off the tree.
The betting orchard.
Yeah, dude. Give me Eastern Michigan plus 10.
You're a little later at a nice little apple orchard in the heartland of America.
And I just pick off an Eastern Michigan cover. Yeah. Give me Eastern Michigan plus 10 here. I think Toledo's down. Eastern Michigan plays tough. This is a classic MAC game. Give me the home dog. It's never easy to play on that ugly-ass gray field.
Oh, my God. Can you believe Maction starts on Tuesday?
I'm so happy, Erik. This is a great time to be alive.
I mean, Tuesday, Maction, Election Day, and the college football playoff stuff comes out.
Well, who cares about the other two but Maction? Buffalo at Akron. Buffalo's a 1-point road favorite here, over under 49. Minus 108 on the money line for Akron.
That Akron game last week took 5 years off my life.
It was very, oh God, that was stressful. I do like Akron in this game though. I like Akron over Buffalo. I think they're a better coach team. Give me Akron. Maine at Oklahoma, Erik. Anything for the Maine, the Black Bears of Maine? 30 getting 35. You gonna disrespect a team from the Northeast like that?
I got nothing
here. Oklahoma better cover this. They need like a very dominant win to kind of get right. Vanderbilt at Auburn. Auburn is a 7.5-point home favorite here. Over under 48.5 plus 230 on the money line for Vandy.
Diego's banged up.
Does that not make him more powerful?
No. I want nothing to do here.
I want it. Auburn has had an infinite capacity this year to let their fan base down. They're going to do it again. They're going to lose in heartbreaking fashion. They're going to get up. They're going to make tons of mistakes, and Hugh Freeze will blame his players on yet another loss that he probably miscoached. Give me Vanderbilt plus 7.5 and straight up. And this is a disappointing Vanderbilt loss. Not like a healthy Diego Pavia, we expect him to win. This is a disappointing loss for Auburn.
Respect.
Give me the Vandals straight up. ODU at App State. ODU 3-point road favorite. Touching that one at all, Erik. Touching that one.
No, I'm at App State under, looking good though for the season.
It's looking good. My App State to make the college football playoffs has been burned and like threw that in the garbage already.
That's almost as good as my Wyoming over ticket.
Nothing is worse than my Rice to win the ACC.
I don't know, dude. My Wyoming, dude.
Dude, but we were all on Wyoming. All three of us. Like, I was on a limb with Rice, and they just, I don't know. Tulsa at UAB. UAB is a 2.5-point home favorite. Over under 57.5, plus 120 on the money line. And how does Trent Dilfer still have a job in 2024?
If you are you got to take Tulsa here just out of.
I did. I am on Tulsa. I'm on Tulsa plus 3. I'm on Tulsa money line at plus 120. I did take it.
Now, also, if you're the Louisiana Monroe coach who was at UAB and they elected to go with Dilfer and the UAB job comes open,
do you go back?
Do you go back or you just say, you know what? F you took this clown instead of me. I'm just going to go someplace else. Because he's with what he's doing at Monroe, Louisiana Monroe.
Oh, he's getting a job.
He's going to get a job.
Yeah, I don't know where UAB goes from here. You can't stick with the DILF. He's got to go. This team is awful. Jeff chiming in, Miami of Ohio at Testicle Tech on Tuesday night. It doesn't get better than that.
Testicle Tech.
Is there a tech? Is there a tech in the MAC?
Ball State.
Oh, I love Jeff. Shout out Jeff. He's a Miami of Ohio guy. Yeah, I'm on Tulsa plus the 3. I got him straight up as well. Give me Tulsa all day. Golden Hurricane. Oregon at Michigan at 2:30, Erik. Oregon is a 14.5-point road favorite. Over under 45, plus 500 on the money line for the Wolverines.
So real quick, I'm looking at herosports.com, and they have Jerry Mack the Jacksonville Jaguars running back coach. Anthony Belvins, Birmingham Stallions defensive assistant. Tyson Helton, the Western Kentucky head coach. I think that's a step down.
I also think that's a step down.
The SMU offensive coordinator, Casey Woods. I think he'll get better opportunities. Alabama's tight end coach, Byron Ellis. Lamar head coach, Pete Rosamaldo. And obviously the UAB coach.
I've also heard some whispering of Skip Holtz.
Dude, if I'm Skip Holtz hasn't made. I don't know why he'd go back.
That's what I'm saying too. Like, he can dip his toes in and be an advisor. I think if he wants to get involved with college football, he hasn't made though with the Stallions. I wouldn't go back. Who do you like in Oregon, Michigan?
No, nothing.
It's gonna be an interesting game. I want to know if Michigan can do anything offensively.
I mean, like, look, the one guy who started last week against Michigan State retired. Now you're going back to Orgy, who's just a wide receiver back there. I have no idea what's going on.
Michigan try and have the same quarterback 2 games in a row challenge, level impossible.
Bill Clark seems to have gotten his health issues on track.
Do you think he comes back?
Well, they're saying he's rumored to the Southern Miss and ECU jobs.
Oh, ECU would be I think ECU is a better job than UAB.
I know. But I mean, if they go someplace else, I'm just...
Yeah. I think Oregon rolls here against Michigan. Speaking of which...
This is a great quote. With a proven track record of doing nothing but winning a ton of football games.
Yeah. It's what he does.
Doing nothing and winning a ton of football games.
Speaking of rolling, also at 2:30, Florida at Georgia. Really neutral site. It's the cocktail game. Georgia's a 14.5-point favorite here. Is there any shot Florida can keep it close?
I want nothing here.
I think if you're going to take anything, we've seen a sleepy Georgia at points this year. You might be able to get some value with Florida first half.
Yeah, I mean...
If the Georgia that played Texas shows up, this game is like going to be over in the first quarter, though. But if the Georgia that plays Kentucky shows up...
Florida's going to run the ball. Florida changed their defense, a lot more basic, not doing all the exotic looks they did before. Florida's playing a lot better, and I think Napier, he saved his job. Do you think he saved his job, like, 100%? Or... Because, like, they're getting into the meat of their schedule now. They play a lot of tough games coming up. They're going to end the season probably on, like, a 4-game losing streak. And, like, maybe getting blown out. I mean, I think a lot of it kind of depends. Like, let me pull their schedule.
I think it depends how close the losses are.
So right now they're 4-3. Okay, so I'm gonna say they're gonna beat Florida State. LSU and Ole Miss are already out of the college football playoffs.
They could.
How up are those guys gonna be for that game and those teams? You know what I mean? Like when you have Florida playing to get into a bowl game, which for them is a successful season.
I think if he makes a bowl, his job's saved.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even if he makes the bowl game, I think the only how can I word this? I would do the back channel reach out to Lane.
Yeah.
And if Lane says no, I'd be fine. I'd run another season out.
Do you feel like a lot of the coaches that we thought were going to be on the hot seat kind of saved their job this year? Like Pittman was on the hot seat.
I feel like his job.
I think Pittman saved his job. Napier was one of them. Aranda, do you think Aranda at Baylor saved his job?
Close.
Like, I think they're fringe.
I think a job that could become open that none of us thought.
West Virginia.
Oh, obviously. Yeah. West Virginia, they let go their defensive coordinator. What about Michigan?
I don't think they fire him after year one.
Michigan has Oregon, Indiana, Northwestern, Ohio State.
Yeah, they're going to get creamed on a lot of those. I think they still keep him I don't think they fire him after year one. I just don't. Speaking of which, of one of those teams, Indiana at Michigan State. Indiana is a 7.5-point road favorite here, over under 53.5, plus 245 on the money line. I have something in this one. Let me get it out real quick, and then I'll let you go, Eric, because I know you have a lot of takes on this game. I just bet the over. Even like if Rourke plays or whether he doesn't, I think Indiana's offense can put up a lot of points. I like this team. I like their gumption. And if we get a good Aiden Childs game, I know Michigan State can put up points, and they can. I don't see either defense being able to like stop the other a ton. So give me the over. I took it at 53.5.
I took Michigan State here. I got it at +8 and +250 straight up to win. Smith as a dog, 58% ATS. What does Indiana like to do? They like to run the ball. Michigan State has been elite defending the run this season. Rourke isn't 100%. It looks like he's going to go because the line has ticked up to 8. So there's a path here for Michigan State to slow it down. Stop the run, force Rourke to pass. Rourke's not 100%. Thus, Indiana struggles to move the ball offensively. Guess which team has the most percentage of bets today?
It's got to be Indiana, right?
Indiana, 91% of the bets right now on Indiana. I'm fading the public here with this play. When you look at their Indiana schedule, this is their first, like, really quote unquote true road game. They have not been tested at all on the road. Looking at their schedule, they played at Northwestern, at UCLA, and that's been it. This is going to be their biggest test on the road. Smith is elite in scripted plays, and they're due for some positive red zone regression against Oregon, Michigan, and Ohio State. 6 trips inside the red zone in the first quarter. 7 points. That's mind-blowing.
Can they get to double digits with that?
Yeah, I mean, like...
And Erik not have a heart attack this year.
Well, I mean, the thing is this game's on Peacock, and I'm going to be at the OTB watching horse racing, so I'm not going to be able to watch the game. I'll be following along on the Score app, but my thing is, who knows if I'm not saying they would have beat Ohio State or beat Oregon, but those games would have been a little bit more interesting. They definitely would have beat Michigan State if they could have scored 2 touchdowns in that situation. They ended up missing a 23-yard field goal. Smith is just elite scripting plays, and I think they're going to be due for some regression because this is a weaker defense compared to those other ones. So I like that angle.
I'm still on the fence.
I think Indiana's been great this year. Great story. I'm happy for them because I know what it's like to have a shitty football team you root for that is in a position to go to the college football playoff. I just feel that I think they're due for some regression. I think Michigan State's due for some positive red zone regression. I'm getting a team that is elite running the ball, that like Michigan State. They can take advantage of that defensive line of Indiana. Look, Michigan State +8, +250. Give it to me, big dog.
I don't hate it. I'm just on the over in this one. Texas Tech at Iowa State. Iowa State's a 13.5-point favorite here. Over under 56.5, +390 on the money line for the Red Raiders.
Nothing.
That's an interesting game. Iowa State has been like doing the thing. They've been getting better each and every week. I'm excited for that one. I'm rooting for the Cyclones hard. Shut up, Big Herm. I'm rooting for the Cyclones, though, just the rest of the season. Maybe it's because I have a future on them to win the Big 12. Maybe. Call me selfish.
The thing is, let's just kind of look at their schedule. Texas Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati, and then they end with Utah and Kansas State.
You don't need to include Utah in the Utah and Kansas State listing. Utah's garbage now, dude.
Yeah, they're awful, and I think they're going to beat Kansas State. I think they run the table, dude. This team could be the 4-3 seed in the college football playoff.
Could we get a back-to-back Farmageddon for the Big 12 championship game?
A Farmageddon?
That's what they call Iowa State versus K-State. It's Farmageddon.
Jesus. I think
dude, Erik, there's a world out there. I don't know. It's probably like a less than 2% chance. But there is a world out there where like Iowa State and K-State play. K-State beats Iowa State, but they still both play in the Big 12 championship game. Well, then Iowa State wins that. Then maybe they play in the playoffs. So we could get 3 back-to-back-to-back Farmageddons.
I just want K-State not to make the playoff. I think that team is the biggest frauds in college.
I don't understand why you think like they played the teams that you think are going to be fraudulent, like that are going to expose them, and they beat them. They beat their ass.
They lost to Kansas last week. Kansas wide open touchdown. The guy looks like whoever.
Rivalry game, Erik.
What was the game? What was the football movie with Scott Bakula? Unnecessary Roughness. Where the guy couldn't catch the ball. He looked like him.
Dude, I don't think they're going to lose the rest of the season except to Iowa State.
Nah.
They got Houston, Arizona State, Cincinnati.
I'm gonna fade them every fucking game just on principle.
They're gonna be your TCU. Speaking of which, K-State at Houston. K-State's a 13-point favorite here against Houston, over under 46 plus 390 on the money line.
After all that rant, they didn't make the cut.
I think K-State's going to keep rolling. The Big 12 title race is kind of crazy right now. Between like K-State, BYU, Iowa State, and Colorado in the mix too.
I would love for Colorado just to fuck around, dude.
UCLA at Nebraska. Nebraska is a 7-point home favorite. Over under of 38.5 plus 230 on the money line. Erik, there's a fun stat. It's not fun, but it's a stat. I believe it is 12 games in a row or something. It might, I'm going off the top of my head here. I think it's 12 games in a row for Nebraska to like make a bowl. Like they need to win this game to make a bowl. They've lost 12 of those games in a row to like get bowl eligible. It's been brutal. Thank God we're not playing a ranked team. UCLA is obviously the like.
Did you say we?
Yeah, I always say we.
Right,
You've been here a minute, Erik. I always say we. This is the best shot we have to like get a win going out, because after UCLA, it's Iowa, it's Wisconsin, and it's USC. We play at USC. This is a big one. I'm going to be honest and upfront. I see Nebraska a touchdown or more favorite against like any team in conference. I cannot fault you for taking UCLA here. Nebraska could win this one, and I think they do win. But somehow, some way, this game will be close. It will be agonizing. And it will be like I will want to throw up and piss my pants. That's Nebraska football. Moving on. North Carolina at Florida State.
That was really hard.
UNC is a 2.5-point road favorite here, over under of 50.5, plus 120 on the money line for FSU. So I didn't bet this one, but my take for the Penn State Ohio State is same in this way, except this game's way shittier. Florida State, if not now, when? This is your best shot for a win going forward. UNC is terrible. I hate the Lakers chiming in. Can Mac Brown just leave? If Florida State could beat anybody, it would be this UNC team.
I had Florida State against Duke, and I just done. Just done.
You put them on the do not bet list?
They're just off there. They're off with Texas A&M, just hanging out.
Arizona at UCF. UCF is a 6.5-point favorite here, over under 55.5, plus 180 on the money line. UCF did the thing. They got rid of their DC. They got rid of Ted Roof, one of the worst DCs in college football. Is that enough to be 6.5-point favorites now against Arizona and the Fighting Tetaroa McMillans?
I got nothing.
I saw this one. It kind of bounced out at me. I was like, why is Arizona State a 6.5-point dog to UCF? But both these teams are kind of like meh, so I stayed away. It confused and confounded me, so I went away from it. Arizona State at Oklahoma State. Arizona State, the Sun Devils are 4.5-point favorites here, over under 57, plus 160 on the money line.
Nothing.
Sports facts, ASU over Oklahoma State.
I mean, I was wrong. I thought Oklahoma State, I thought they'd be able to run the ball. I thought they're going to lean on Ollie Gordon. Obviously, they had Bowman back there who, as a 45-year-old playing quarterback in college, just took a huge regressional step backwards. They've been playing 10 people in the box. Gordon hasn't been able to get it going. He's probably kicking himself from not going in the draft.
Can he stick around another year? Because guess what I'm going to be doing when people are doubting Oklahoma State next year? That's when I'll be on them. This team stinks. Both these teams stink.
Technically, he could come back. I don't know why he would, though.
I guess running back, your draft stock's probably not going to go rise or fall too far either way. 2:30 ULM at Marshall. Marshall 10.5-point favorite here. Are we done with the ULM hype? Is that over now?
I mean, Marshall should never, ever, ever be this big of a favorite. But I'm not doing anything.
I'm with Erik here. I'm maybe I'll dip my toes back in some other time in the year, but I'm staying away from ULM this week. Middle Tennessee at UTEP.
Wow, they have him as a 1, 2, 3, 4. So CBS Sports has him as the 5th running back.
Okay.
I mean, Gentry, Godkins, Hampton, Mullings.
Yeah. He's not looked good this year.
He's got to be kicking himself, dude.
He's got to be absolutely kicking himself. UTEP -3 versus MTSU. You taking Middle Tennessee straight up?
No.
Yeah, I'm not either. Navy at Rice. Navy is an 11-point road favorite against the Hootie Hoo Owls of Rice. Over under 48, plus 320 on the money line for the Rice Owls. Erik.
Jim, give me Rice here, plus 11.5, plus 328. Service Academy's laying over 10, 45% against the number. I think Navy is going to have a huge letdown after that shellacking against Notre Dame, and their college football dreams busted. Horvath got hurt, injury to the thumb, really going to, I feel, limit what he's going to be able to do. When we look at Navy's schedule, it has been insanely soft. And when I was looking at the rankings for Rice defensively, guess where they're ranked defensively?
81st.
40th.
Whoa.
They're the 40th best defense in the country right now.
Whoa, Rice.
And that really stood out to me. So defensively, I think they're going to be able to limit what Navy is going to be able to do. Navy plays at a slower pace. Hence, it's going to be hard for them to cover this huge of a number. Now, I knew Navy was due for turnover regression. They're still +6 this year on turnovers. They're due even for more turnover regression. And Rice is due for some positive turnover regression and some red zone turnover regression. They're constantly making it to the red zone, not getting points, constantly turning over the ball. Those are going to start going in their favor because at the end of the year, all this stuff evens out. We mentioned it before when you and I were talking off air, the coaching change. This is a huge upgrade. This coach was a special teams coach. He's been around these guys, some 6-year seniors for 6 years. These guys are fighting for him. We mentioned before, 2-6 teams battling to try to get to 6 wins to try to make a bowl game, extend that season. That's where Rice is here. I think they're live 11.5 plus 328.
My only thing is, as someone who has bet on Rice games pretty avidly for the last 2.5 years, this team is unpredictable more than any other team on the planet. I don't know what you think's going to happen. I don't know anything that happens, but Rice will always find a way to confuse you.
See, I remember, now I'm starting to think, because there was that game a couple years ago when they played Houston, and they're 14-point dogs, and they're up by 21, 28, but yet somehow the game went to overtime.
Yeah. This team is weird. This Rice team is weird. I like the play, Erik, but I have been burned by Rice too much this year. I'm staying away. Coastal Carolina at Troy. Coastal's a 4-point favorite here. Over under 52.5 plus 145 on the money line. What a downswing for Troy this year.
Hey, buddy, guess what? Guess who had their under?
It was Erik. I think me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coastal, though. I mean, good spot. Shout out Tim Beck, I guess. Fuck you still. Wyoming at New Mexico. New Mexico's a 7.5 point favorite here. Over under 60.5 plus 225 on the money line. I wanted to get there with Wyoming.
I mean, they look better since the quarterback change. I mean, I was really hyped on this kid coming in who was taking over, but he's just really struggled. Obviously, the injuries that Wyoming has had hasn't helped the cause at all. Yeah, but
I have Wyoming on the stay away list for now, but I wanted
Wyoming's been on the stay away list too. So
UMass Mississippi State. Can UMass do the funniest thing right now and get a win against an SEC school? No,
that'd be pretty funny.
Probably not. That'd be very funny. Hawaii at Fresno, 11.5 points. God, I want this game. I want it. I want it, Erik.
I got nothing here, brother.
For my Hawaii over, this would be massive.
I got nothing here, man.
This would be massive for my Hawaii over. All their wins so far, though, have come at home. And Hawaii is 3-5. All wins coming on the road. Coming at home. They're 3-2 at home, 0-3 on the road. I want it. I want it. Texas A&M at South Carolina. A&M is a 3-point road favorite here. Over under 44 plus 130 on the money line for the Gamecocks. Erik, gave it to him.
I got South Carolina. I got it 3.5. I'd still play it here at 3. Better than the record indicates. They're 4-3. They could easily be 6-1. Should it be Bama and LSU? A&M down last week. Reed came in, led them to victory. They haven't announced who the starter is going to be. And I really don't think it matters just because South Carolina is good against mobile quarterbacks. So if Reed comes in, I don't really think that's going to be a factor. If Connor plays, hell, he sucks, dude. I would love for him to play, dude. Be thrown against this defense, which is electric. Sellers is back, coming off the bye. He's going to be more well-rested. And I know this AMU defense is good, but the last couple weeks they've been giving up a lot of plays of over 20 yards, and that's kind of what the South Carolina's offense is. Get that big explosive play. AMU off of a big win, come from behind against LSU. South Carolina at home, coming off a bye. The spot screams to me to take South Carolina, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to take
everything in my body.
Plus 3.
Everything in my body says to take South Carolina here. I have them a little bit later.
So when I was younger, you'll get a kick out of this. You know, like you could get those Gamecock hats that just say Cox on them.
Yeah.
I threaded out the S, so my hat just said Cock.
That's pretty damn good. I love that.
15-year-old Uncle Rico walking around with that hat, dude.
That's perfect. Louisville at Clemson. Clemson is a 10.5 point favorite here. Over under of 62 plus 310 on the money line. I just feel this is going to be a closer game than 10.5 points. Louisville has it in them. Jeff Brom, underdog.
Here's the thing. Let's just look at Louisville's schedule real quick. When was the last, Louisville last week, come from behind against Boston College, down double digits, should have lost. Week before that, Miami, back and forth game, easily could have won. Miami bailed out again by the ACC officials with the fumble. Beat Virginia. Lost to SMU.
Crazy game.
Loss to Notre Dame. That's 5 one-possession games in a row that could have gone either way. Do you think this team is tired?
No, I think they're crazy. I think this team is insane. I think they're just absolutely bonkers. I went with the over here. I went with the over 62. I think both teams can put up points. I think Clemson's shown that their offense has kind of gotten a lot better since that Georgia thumping week 1. Louisville, I trust them to just make the game insane. Give me the over in a crazy game. Similar to the Miami one, I think.
End of the day, I just want Miami to lose in the ACC championship game. So I'm sitting this one out.
I want Miami to not even make the ACC championship game.
That'd be great. Go Vatek.
I'm going Pitt. I want Pitt. USC at Washington. USC is a 2-point road favorite here. Over under 55.5 plus 110 on the money line for the Huskies. I know you got something here, baby.
I took Washington plus 2.5. USC likes to pass the ball. Washington, best pass rush in the country. Washington needs to win this game to get to bowl eligibility. I mean, I'm pulling up their schedule really quick. I should have wrote this down. I apologize for being unprofessional. Because they got Penn State and Oregon on deck, and they are at 4 wins. So they need to win this game and then beat UCLA. I think Coleman's going to have success running the ball here against USC's front 7. He's averaging only 6 yards per carry. Last 20 years, 3rd worst. USC, 42% against the number. Last 20 years, covering on the road as a favorite. Riley, as a favorite on the road at USC, guess what? 20% against the number. Washington's tandem of their wide receivers is going to eat against this USC's back 4. Coleman is going to have success running the ball. Belichick is elite in pass coverage with this secondary. I think USC is going to struggle here. Awful season for them. Another team we really have to question their motivation. You know what I mean? Like, this is a team that some people that was ranked. Remember when they beat LSU week 1? Everyone was like, "Oh, this could be a team that could do something." Now they have 4 wins.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna take Washington here minus the 2.5.
I don't hate that at all. I stayed away from this one. I couldn't get behind either team. I think Erik nailed it on the Lincoln Riley USC thing. They've kind of like fallen apart in a slow slump down the season, and I couldn't get there. Halil's Real Football Talk chiming in. Here's his full slate. Illinois money line at plus 130. Elik Aminor from Stanford, 1 touchdown at plus 150. Arkansas first half plus 3.5 at plus 105. UCLA Nebraska over 39 at minus 105. Navy first half minus 6.5, minus 110. And Oregon minus 13.5 versus Michigan.
Good luck, my friend.
Nice
Good
slate.
luck.
The Big Ten, up next, Erik. It's the Big Tenest Big Ten game that's ever going to Big Ten. Wisconsin at Iowa. Iowa is a 2.5-point favorite here. Over under 41.5 plus 120 on the line for Wisconsin.
Nothing.
Do you think Iowa can start like doing something now that they made the quarterback switch?
God, dude. Remember our text?
Maybe a little too late.
Remember our text back and forth about McNamara?
I mean, he's not good, but like, I didn't think he was this bad.
He's bad, dude. So bad. Jesus Christ, is he bad? I
already burned my Iowa to make the playoffs ticket. Wisconsin kind of having a nice little stretch there, having a nice little run. This will be an interesting game. It'll be probably a rock fight like it is every year.
So
like
the thing that really stood out to me, now granted, I had Wisconsin last week at home in the spot of spots against Penn State. Their quarterback just makes some awful reads. That pick 6 was absolutely awful. And when you're playing, we can be here. We can slam Iowa for their offense for McNamara. But at the end of the day, their defense is always going to be elite. And it's hard for me to trust this Wisconsin quarterback. If I had to make a play, I would definitely go to Iowa here, but nothing.
I would too, because the way you beat this Iowa team is playing clean. Like, they capitalize off of your mistakes more than many other teams, and they don't make a ton of themselves. So a team like Wisconsin that I don't fully trust with that regard, I would take Iowa. Stayed away. Georgia Southern at South Alabama. South Alabama is a 6-point favorite here, over under 60, plus 180 on the money line. I want to take Georgia Southern. But I think South Alabama is actually a pretty darn good team. This will be an interesting Sun Belt game, just to kind of like have your side eye on. Kentucky at Tennessee. Tennessee is a 17.5-point favorite here, over under 45.5, plus 625 on the money line for the Wildcats. I got something in this one. I took the under 45.5. I think Kentucky's defense can still maybe manage something, and Tennessee has looked a little bit worse offensively week in and week out. Why are there no late games? We're doing 6:45 is kind of late.
No, but there's no like. He's right. I was.
Yeah, there's no like super late games, which is weird.
You think it's because
this is
daylight savings?
What?
You think it's because daylight savings?
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm just trying to guess. Like we were talking about on my show on Tuesday night. Like we had no idea, and one guy chimed in because of daylight savings.
But then, like, couldn't the Arizona school still do a late one because they don't do daylight savings in Arizona?
They could. I don't. It's just a weird slate. You know what I mean? There's nothing. There's like none of those 9:30, 10 games.
It's true.
Like seven's like the latest game, right?
Yeah, there's 3 games at 7. It's Pitt SMU. SMU 7-point favorite. I think that could potentially be the funnest game of the day. Too bad it's on the ACC network. TCU Baylor also at 7. Baylor -3, and Colorado State Nevada. Colorado State 2.5-point road favorite. You like any of those late games, Eric? Late, quote unquote, late-ish.
No, I like nothing, dude. I got nothing.
Yeah, I will be excited to watch Pitt SMU. I think that will be a very fun game. TCU Baylor is always exciting, but that's all I have.
I got nothing.
So go through our picks. I have them right here. Erik is on Penn State +3.5, Michigan State +8, and on the money line at +250. South Carolina +3.5, Air Force +22, Rice +11, and on the money line at +328. Arkansas +7.5, and on the money line at +250, and Washington +2.5. I am on Arkansas +7.5, Illinois +3, Illinois money line +128, Vanderbilt +7.5, and on the money line at +236, Tulsa +3, and on the money line at +120. Indiana, Michigan State over 53.5. Louisville, Clemson over 62. And Kentucky, Tennessee under 45.5. I also added Stanford +9.5 and Eastern Michigan +10.
Can you read to me what you wrote for Chase?
Oh, for Chase, I wrote, "Who knows the deep thoughts of a mind confounded with infinite wisdom of the garage? Not I know. I know not of what I seek. I only know that we as a society must come together in the garage of America so that we may bear one another." So that we may bear one another's Miller High Lives on the path to true acceptance and understanding. I kind of just went stream of consciousness there with that one.
You kind of sound like, what was it, Will Ferrell in Old School, where he just went off during the debate?
A little bit, yeah. Erik, the round robin. I have mine right here, old money line. Arkansas, Tulsa, Illinois, Pitt, Vanderbilt, and South Carolina.
Penn State, Arkansas, Michigan State, Rice, and South Carolina.
Ooh, that's got to be juicy.
It's pretty juicy. I should have put Washington in it. I don't know why I didn't.
And then I have a teaser for you. A beautiful teaser. We're going to tease New Mexico down to 1.5 here against Wyoming.
That's probably the one that kills it.
I'm going to tease Memphis down to 1.5 versus UTSA.
Okay.
I teased Indiana down to 1.5 versus Michigan State.
Okay.
I teased Arkansas up to +13.5.
Okay.
I teased Nebraska down to -1.
Okay.
I teased Northwestern up to 8.5.
Okay.
Navy down to 5. Army to 15.5. And Penn State.
Navy's going to be the one that gets you, my friend.
And then Penn State +9. 30-1. 30-1. Most exciting, Erik, most exciting conference race before we get out of here.
Oh, definitely the Big 12.
It's the Big 12 or ACC for me. Those are like my two. Big 12 number 1, ACC number 2, SEC number 3, Big 10 distant 4th.
Oh, there it is, Big 10.
Very distant. All right, folks.
Dude, whoa, you know what? What about the Conference of Champions, dude?
Oh, I meant P4. The most exciting conference race is always the MAC.
I mean, we got Western Michigan at 4-0, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Bowling Green at 3-1. We got EMU, Toledo, Buffalo, and Ball State at 2-2. And I would have told you that NIU would have the same record as Akron in the MAC after they beat Notre Dame, you would have said I was crazy.
You know who I don't know if they win the MAC, but do you know who I think the best team is? Like, I think it's Bowling Green.
Yeah, they're pretty good, man.
I think they're really good.
I mean, we got that Western Michigan 10-1, just.
My Central Michigan one at like 16-1's not looking so hot.
I mean, I feel with Western Michigan, if they can split these next 2 games, I think they'll win out. So we'll see. We'll see.
Follow that man at eTop21 Sports everywhere you can find anything. Follow me at XFL Jim. Make sure you go check out Chase's podcast, The Notorious OTB, for all your Breeders' Cup information today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Find us next week for another episode of the College Football Tailgate Big Show. Love you guys.